Hi, everybody. Hope you're all having a good day. After reading this article and going through it, I must admit the irony is not really lost on me. Now, going back to Ubisoft again, Ubisoft Monetization Director says fan celebrations around Assassin's Creed Shadows Studios' recent troubles are revolting. Claims any industry peer doing the same is a non human being. This is ironic coming from the Monetization Director. Now, as far as the game goes, it's pretty obvious that everybody is somewhat pissed off about this. Whatever tales they've had of spinning this in the other direction, well, seems to be fooling no one but themselves. They can tell themselves these lies until they go to sleep, but to be quite frank with you, everybody's alive to the fact what kind of trash this game is, and let's just see how far it goes when they release it. Guarantee you now, sales are going to be pretty bad because nobody's got faith in this crap. Now, in the opinion of the Ubisoft monetization director Stevie Chassid, not not only is it outright shameful for players to be celebrating the Assassin's Creed Shadows developers' ongoing struggles, but those within the industry exhibiting the same behavior, exposing themselves as non-decent human beings. You know what? Go to hell. We've had enough with your crap already. Not owning video games, how's that working out for you? Chassid, who has served in his current position since first going into studio in September 22, offered this condemnation of his audience and industry peers in a now deleted post release shared in his personal LinkedIn page on October 1st, taking issue with the widespread cheering that poured out in response to Ubisoft's leadership recent confirmations that Star Wars Outlaws sold terribly, Assassin's Creed Shadows was being delayed, and the company as a whole has been undergoing an internal operations audit. Chaston declared, "I really posted a screen, but today I am sad, ashamed, and sad." As far as when I look at this kind of situation, these people are so far out of touch from reality that they kind of understand that everything that's happening to them has been brought on themselves. You've given people a reason to point and laugh at you. You've given people a reason to point the finger at you. If you did a good job with Star Wars Outlaws, it wouldn't have been the situation. Well, you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in. If AC Shadows actually respected Japan and gave people a proper Japanese protagonist, you would have shown great respect for that. And you got to understand, messing Japan is like messing with the entire world. There's a large group of people who love Japan, even though they've never been to the place. They love it for its culture, even though they don't know much about it. They love it for the video games that came out of Japan, even though they're not playing the Japanese versions of those games. And they love anime in particular, period. Whether it's in English or whether it's subbed or dubbed, it doesn't matter. You got to understand you are now dealing with all of these people who you are now going to basically go out and disrespect something which they seem to have loved, even though they haven't been to Japan. That may make things worse for you. Now you're already kicking a hornet's nest and you think that people are going to feel sorry for you. Think again. What's worse is you're the monetization director who's doing this, of all people. That's what makes you look more like a clown and makes this go down even harder than it should. Now, going on to his read from me, I rarely post on social media, but today I'm sad, ashamed, and sad. The gaming industry is rough at the moment, we all know it, but seeing how gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike is sad, and not only towards Ubisoft. Even though it's always the vocal minority that express themselves, this is not the vocal minority. The only people who are in the minority are the people who are saying that everything that's happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows is good so far. They're the only people who are going out and taking two lines about a person in history and spinning it as if though it's something that it's not. The only minority we have here are the people who are out there writing hit pieces and trying to claim that everybody online is just upset and it's all coming from people with translated accounts on Twitter or X or whatever it is. So good luck with you trying to fool everybody, because if it was a vocal minority, guess what? The share price of Ubisoft would not have dipped. Assassin's Creed Shadows would have been released in a broken state that it was, because if it was a vocal minority, then you would have made a hell of a lot of pre-orders, and we all know that you didn't do that. Now, going back to the article, even though this is always a vocal minority that expresses themselves on social media, I was hurt, and ashamed to be part of this community. Then leave. You don't have to be a part of it. No one's saying you have to stay. What is even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry. On top of exposing yourself as clearly a non-decent human being, you are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences. How can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that product does not please you as beyond me? That's the problem with these idiots. They have no business knowledge of any kind. The product does not cater to you. The product does not please you. The customer is always right at the end of the day. If the customer tells you that they want chocolate milkshake, give them chocolate milkshake. If you give them vanilla and say this is just as good, they'll be like, I don't care if it's just as good. This is not what I wanted. Take it back. That's how it works. We are all in the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. Okay, make a better game that doesn't require any polishing, make a better story, and give us back the original protagonist for Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's not that difficult, you can do it. The gaming industry is rough at the moment, we all know it. Okay, so I'm just going to be reading that again. As far as this whole situation goes, I don't think that they've got the right people in the right places to do the job. At the same time, this should be something that's handled by Ubisoft's PR. This is not something, a PR team, it's not something that should be handled by internal employees. They should obviously give their concerns or whatever it is, but do their best to remain as quiet as possible, because every time they open their mouth, the first thing they do is ruin it for Ubisoft and make people hate them even more. Now, as far as this whole situation goes, going back to the article, unsurprisingly, shortly after its publication, the Ubisoft employees' post began to make the rounds across social media, drawing all the ire one would expect regarding such a blanket insult. In turn, rather than further engage with the conversation, Chassad, without so much as a word or follow-up statement, chose to instead wholesale delete the post. Given Ubisoft's aforementioned troubles, which have grown so unruly that the company is generally considered an emergency partnership with Tencent to take the company private. It's unlikely that Chassad's public lashing out will do anything to help the studio's current position. And yes, if you already had no faith in Ubisoft, this itself makes it even worse for them. Now that I've seen this, even if I wanted to do anything for Ubisoft positive that will help them, I wouldn't do it, because this is the monetization director showing you just exactly how out of touch they are. All of these people probably receive well-paying checks from Ubisoft. They're not exactly a small company. I think now that the gravy train is going to effectively come to an end, they all want to now play nice, when previously they weren't doing that. What's the matter? If it's a vocal minority, then you've got nothing to worry about. After all, the silent majority will be supporting you financially, won't they? After all, when going back to the article, when fans are already fed up with the video game developer for their half-assed production cycles, over-reliance on microtransactions, and adherence to modern audience messaging over historical realism, the general dismissal of the opinions is probably the last thing they'd meet with a favorable response. That is true, and thanks to its delay, Ubisoft's next major title, AC Shadows, has been pushed back from its original November 2024 release to hit shelves in February of 2025. Now, when it comes down to this whole situation with Ubisoft, it shows only one thing, and that is Ubisoft is out of touch with gamers. They have no idea what the hell they're doing. They don't know what they're doing with their own customers. If you give people what they want, they will naturally buy it from you. But if you don't give them what they want, then they're not going to support you financially. On top of that, if you just go out of your way to disrespect something which people like, guess what? All the people who like that thing are going to gang up on you and start tearing you to pieces. On top of that, all of the inconsistencies from Ubisoft only say either one of two things. They are either ignorant when it comes down to doing business and how to deal with their own audience. Alternatively, they're doing it on purpose to destroy Ubisoft and destroy whatever goodwill they've got. Either way, it looks bad for them, and there's nothing they can do to dig themselves out of this. That's just my opinion about the whole situation. Even if Assassin's Creed Shadows is the most polished game in history, it comes up with no bugs and no glitches of any kind. Unfortunately, Ubisoft has done nothing to win favor with the customer, and that's what it all boils down to. Public relations matter. You may think that all press is good press, but not when people have the power to close their wallets after you make a stupid statement. With that being said, guys, I'm out of this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, leave a dislike if you didn't. I hope to see you in the next video. Comment down below what your thoughts are. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.